why undercharging hurts more than just your profitability. The thing is, keeping your rates low doesn't just hurt your bottom line. It also leads to burnout because you're working more to make up for it. It attracts budget-conscious clients who don't truly value your expertise, and it creates a cycle when you feel stuck and resentful in your own business. When you charge what you're actually worth, everything changes. Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's Thursday episode of the Design Dialogues podcast. Today I am doing, I suppose, what I'm going to call a health check session, because this is a topic that comes right out of one of my sessions from working with a designer. And one thing that I know to be true is that if one designer is going through it, there's usually someone else who is as well. So what I helped this designer do in the health check was dealing with setting the right hourly rate. And I can't tell you how many times I've worked with designers who know they should be charging more, but get stuck when it comes to actually making the change. So in this session, we were talking and the designer was, expressing all of the things that are just red flags that they're not earning enough. She knew her rates were too low and was exhausted from working long hours, but she kept telling herself, if I raise my prices, clients won't book me. I just don't know how to justify a higher rate, and I feel bad for charging more when I love what I do. Does any of this sound familiar? I'm guessing it does, because I know this is a conversation that I have with so many designers. So here's some of the things we uncovered in our session and what you need to know if you are running a business that isn't bringing in enough money, but you want to run one that is sustainable and profitable. So what is the wrong way to set your rate and why it's keeping you stuck? So often designers set their hourly rate based on what they think clients will pay, what other designers in their area are charging, and a number that just feels reasonable. But here's the thing, your rate needs to be based on you and your business. During our health check session, this designer told me, I'm working so hard, but I still feel like I'm just scraping by. And we actually broke it down. It became clear. She had picked her hourly rate almost randomly. It wasn't tied to any real financial goal. She was hoping that if she worked more, the money would sort itself out. But the truth is, if your rate isn't based on what you actually need to take home, what that money that you need in your bank every week to support you and your family, you're setting yourself up to fail. So what is the right way to set your rate? The way that I think you should be setting your rate is to start with what you want your take-home pay to be. We are not running charities. We are running businesses. So you need to be taking home money every week into your bank account that is for your personal life. If you're not doing that, then you are going to struggle long-term building your business. So here's what we did in our session, and this is the exact exercise I walk designers through in the health check to get their pricing where it needs to be. Instead of pulling a number out of thin air, we flipped the process and asked, how much do you actually need to take home? And I encourage you to do the same. So ask yourself, what is your ideal annual salary? Not just what you need to survive, but what you actually want to earn. Then you also need to know what are your business expenses. And this just can't be back of the envelope kind of stuff. You need to really know exactly how much money you need to run the business. Then you need to look at how many hours do you really have to work each week. It's not just 40, because 40 is not the number of billable hours that you'll have in a week. You need to think about how many hours do I have that I am working. Once we run the numbers for this designer, she realized that her current rate wasn't even close to covering what she needed. She really needed to double her hourly rate. Suddenly, it wasn't about, can I raise my rates? It was about, I actually don't have a choice. And that's a really powerful way of thinking. Why undercharging hurts more than just your profitability? The thing is, keeping your rates low doesn't just hurt your bottom line. It also leads to burnout because you're working more to make up for it. It attracts budget-conscious clients who don't truly value your expertise. And it creates a cycle when you feel stuck and resentful in your own business. When you charge what you're actually worth, everything changes. You take on fewer clients, but serve them better. You attract people who respect and trust your expertise. You actually get to enjoy the business you've worked so hard to build. And that's exactly what happened with this designer. After walking through this process, she confidently raised her rates. Not just because she wanted to, because she finally understood why she needed to. I know that raising your rates can feel scary. So if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, I get it, but how do I actually do it? Here's how to start. Do the math. Use the formula that I've just talked about and work out what your hourly rate should be. Then communicate it with confidence. Now, I would say start with your new clients. You can't go back and change contracts that have been signed. However, you can communicate that you will be raising your hourly rate at the start of a new financial year or possibly at the start of a new calendar year. That is a really reasonable thing to do. And you can just communicate that with your existing clients. It might be that instead of saying, I've raised my prices, say, we've refined our services to provide even more value, and this update reflects that. Think about businesses that you interact with. Most businesses will raise their prices at some point. Usually it is either at the start of a new financial year or the start of a new calendar year. It is not unreasonable. You just need to communicate it properly. At the end of the day, this just isn't about money. It's about respect. Respect for yourself, for your time, and for the expertise you bring to the table. So if you're holding back, worried about what clients will think, let me tell you something. The right clients will value you. The wrong clients will always question your worth. The choice is yours. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. That's it for today's episode. I hope this gave you some fresh ideas and motivation to refine how you run your studio. But here's the thing, having the right strategies is one thing. Actually implementing them is another. And if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just unsure where to start, that's exactly what my Systems and Processes Health Check is for. It's a one-on-one deep dive into how your studio runs, pinpointing where things are working, where they're not, and giving you a clear roadmap to streamline your processes. And the thing is, my health check is different from other mentoring out there. We don't just talk, we put together clear, actionable items that I hold you accountable for, because I want to make sure that at the end of the health check, you see a real difference in your business. Imagine having a studio that runs smoothly, where you're in control, and where you can finally focus on the design work that you love. If that sounds like exactly what you need, head to the website to book in your health check today. Thanks for tuning in, and if you found this episode helpful, share it with a fellow designer who could use these insights too. See you for our next Design Dialogue.